The impact of positive affirmations on our mind. This article explores the idea that positive affirmations can have a significant impact on our state of mind and mental well-being. Based on the famous Coué method, which suggests that positive thinking can influence our behavior and health, the article explains how affirmations act like a mantra on our mind. It also explores the notion of sensory inner movement created by affirmations, pointing out that the simple repetition of positive phrases can create physical sensations in our bodies. The article describes the benefits of practicing affirmations regularly, including improved self-confidence, decreased stress and anxiety, and increased emotional resilience. It also explains how to incorporate this practice into your daily life. The article concludes with a well-known positive affirmation, "Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better," which can serve as a starting point for those who wish to begin using affirmations to improve their state of mind and mental well-being.
The impact of spirituality on our lives through the story of Amma. In this book, we discover the story of Amma, a spiritual figure who has the power to give meaning to our lives. The author describes Amma as a source of blessing, joy, and purification. In her embrace, she lightens the burdens of her followers to give them a new impetus in their daily lives. Spiritual faith is seen here as a driving force to allow love to flow into those who surrender to it. The author emphasizes the importance of this practice to find balance and inner serenity. The simple fact of meeting a person such as Amma can help to become aware of oneself, to question oneself, and to reconnect with our deepest values. In short, I highlight the impact that spirituality can have on our lives by propelling us to a state of wholeness. Amma's story inspires us to seek inner peace and spiritual well-being.
The importance of assertiveness and mutual recognition in conflict resolution. Assertiveness is an essential skill in interpersonal relationships, as it allows for clear communication of needs and limitations. However, it is equally important to consider the need for mutual recognition, i.e., to empathize and respect the needs and limitations of other people. In some situations, assertiveness and the need for mutual recognition may conflict. It is necessary to find a balance between these two needs. This may involve honest and respectful discussion to find a solution that works for all parties involved. It is also important to remember that each point of view offers a unique perspective. Considering the different perspectives in a conflict opens up new horizons and allows for creative solutions that meet the needs of all parties. In conclusion, assertiveness and mutual recognition are key skills in conflict resolution. By practicing them in a balanced way and considering different perspectives, we can create healthy and positive relationships.
The importance of attachment in overcoming psychological insecurity. In life, we are confronted with many forms of psychological insecurity, whether they are material, territorial, or emotional. Attachment, on the other hand, serves to create the security necessary for mutual development. We all need to feel secure, to have a stable base on which we can lean. Attachment can provide us with this, by allowing us to create solid and deep relationships with the people we care about. It is in these relationships that we can find comfort, affection, support, and trust. But for these relationships to be truly fulfilling, we need to find a point of balance. This requires attention to our bodies, our emotions, our feelings. If we are aware of our needs and our limits, we can communicate clearly and respectfully with our loved ones. We can also learn to take care of ourselves by giving ourselves time and space to recharge our batteries. Attachment can be our ally in overcoming psychological insecurity, provided we are willing to invest in our relationships and engage in authentic and respectful communication. This can often take courage and effort, but the payoff is worth it, a rich, fulfilling life where we feel loved, respected, and safe.
The importance of attention and inspiration. It is often said that attention is the key to success in all areas of life. But what is even more true is that attention can act as a catalyst when it is directed towards our body, our heart, or our deepest aspiration. This attention can then become a tremendous source of inspiration. The more we focus on our body and the sensations within it, the more we can access our intuition and creativity. By paying attention to our breathing, our movements, our emotions, we can discover ideas that are expressed through our body. Similarly, by paying attention to our heart, feelings and relationships, we can discover a deep source of inspiration. We can then create art, compose music, write books or poems that express our feelings and life experiences. Finally, by focusing on our deepest aspiration, we develop a connection with our soul and our purpose. We discover powerful ideas that guide us and inspire us to continue on our path. We then become carried by a magical force that gives us the confidence and determination to make our dreams come true. In short, attention to our body, our heart or our aspiration can be an incredible source of inspiration. It can help us discover deep and powerful ideas that will give meaning to our lives and allow us to create works that will touch others.
The importance of the balance between the feminine and the sacred masculine in personal development. The concept of the sacred feminine is more and more emphasized in the field of personal development. It concerns a polarity present in each of us, linked to our deep emotions and our inner feelings. This polarity is often associated with women, but it is present in both men and women. The sacred feminine represents our intuitive and imaginative side, our ability to feel our emotions and understand those of others. It is intuitive, creative and connected to the earth. It represents the feminine energy that is within each of us. However, for this energy to fully express itself, it must be in balance with the sacred masculine. The sacred masculine represents our rational side, our strength and our action. It is logical, organized and connected to heaven. It represents the masculine energy in all of us. When these two energies are in balance and harmony, it allows our inner being to blossom fully. It is not a question of one energy dominating the other, but of a collaboration between the two that allows us to create a complementarity within ourselves. In personal development, working on the balance between the feminine and the sacred masculine can be beneficial to better understand our emotions, to connect to our intuition and to find our inner way. It also allows us to express ourselves fully in all areas of our lives, personal, professional, relational, etc., and to find the harmony that suits us. In short, the balance between the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine is essential in our personal development. It allows us to better understand our inner feelings and to find the harmony within us to fully express our inner being.
The importance of choosing love despite the chaos. In a world where chaos seems to reign supreme, it is often difficult to find reasons to hope. In the midst of this state of confusion, love stands out as an inescapable guide. How important is it to choose love, even when all seems hopeless? It is by leading by example that we can hope to inspire others to follow this bright path. Despite the challenges we face, we have the power to choose to focus on inspiring and joyful thoughts, even in the most difficult times. By showing initiative and perseverance, we can continue to move forward on our path, even when it is fraught with difficulties. By choosing love over fear, we can find harmony even in the midst of complete chaos. In conclusion, it is crucial to choose love as a guide for our lives, even when everything seems dark. By cultivating inspiring and joyful thoughts, by setting an example through our behavior and attitude, we can help bring light to a world that needs this positive energy more than ever.
The importance of coherence between the mental, emotional and physical to reach the essence of oneself. I emphasize the importance of coherence between the mental, emotional and physical to reach one's essence, that is, one's quintessence. When these three dimensions work in harmony, it allows the human being to reach his true nature. However, I note that the emotional can sometimes be faster than the mental, while the physical can activate our baser instincts. Thus, it is important to treat all these dimensions with care, working to establish coherence between them. Finally, the author poses an interesting question: how do we consider love as a whole? This question remains open, but it highlights the importance of not neglecting the emotional aspect in our relationships. In sum, this text highlights the importance of a holistic approach to reach our true essence and build fulfilling relationships.
The importance of communication in a couple. In every couple, communication is a key element to ensure a healthy and fulfilling relationship. It is essential to express one's needs in a clear and limpid manner in order to understand each other's expectations. A fluid and regular communication allows to build a complicity which reinforces the solidity of the couple. However,
It is common that we are afraid to express ourselves in a direct way and to expose our true intentions. This may be due to personal reasons or fears related to past experiences. But keeping your feelings to yourself can lead to misunderstandings and frustrations that damage the relationship. It is therefore essential to work on yourself to be able to communicate your feelings and thoughts in a constructive way. By learning to listen to the other person, to listen to their needs and expectations, a virtuous circle is created that reinforces trust and harmony in the couple. By meeting each other's expectations, we eliminate the frustrations and dissatisfaction that can lead to conflicts and arguments. Indeed, communication opens the door to problem solving, allowing to find common solutions, to make decisions together and especially to consolidate the relationship. In short, effective and benevolent communication is the key to establishing lasting and healthy bonds within the couple. It is therefore crucial to create an open and respectful space where each partner can express his or her feelings and needs, and find solutions together to build a solid and fulfilling relationship.
The importance of complementary relationships in our lives. Complementary relationships are a key element in our personal and emotional development. They help us to grow internally by providing new perspectives and helping us to achieve our common goals. When two people share the same goal, they move forward together and complement each other. They can help, support and motivate each other to achieve their aspirations. Complementary relationships also help us discover new skills and move beyond our comfort zone. However, when one person's hopes and expectations differ from the others, it can lead to frustration and dissatisfaction. Unbalanced or dysfunctional relationships can be detrimental to our personal growth. In these situations, it is important to communicate openly and honestly to establish clear expectations and find a compromise. In short, it is not sustainable to expect an external source of happiness from our relationships. Instead, we should seek partners who complement us and share our goals and values. Complementary relationships can help us grow and evolve personally and emotionally, which can contribute greatly to our fulfillment and happiness.
The importance of directing our energy to the right things. Our energy is precious and it is important to direct it in a way that nourishes the positive aspects of our lives. This is especially true in our relationships, where we are often inclined to prove our love by investing our energy in activities that don't always meet the other person's expectations. This communication gap creates an awkward paradox in which we only loosely nurture self-love, rather than cultivating strong, meaningful connections with others. Indeed, when we direct our energy toward activities that are not in line with what the other person expects of us, we lose the opportunity to strengthen our relationship. It is therefore important to focus on what is important to others and, more generally, on the real priorities in our lives. This includes developing meaningful connections with others in order to maintain healthy and fulfilling relationships. Ultimately, the quality of our lives depends on how we direct our energy. We have the power to create meaningful connections and nurture important relationships by giving our attention to what really matters.
The importance of feminine qualities in society. The feminine qualities are numerous and indispensable to build a more balanced and humanistic world. Society needs these virtues to achieve a mystical marriage between yin and yang. Traditionally, society tends to value the so-called masculine qualities, such as strength, aggressiveness, and competitiveness. However, feminine qualities are equally important, although they are often underestimated and seen as signs of weakness. These qualities include empathy, compassion, gentleness, patience, and listening. These virtues can help create a more harmonious society, as they encourage cooperation, solidarity, and mutual support. They are particularly important in resolving conflicts, supporting vulnerable people, and promoting equal opportunities. The mystical marriage between yin and yang represents the perfect balance between the two polarities, masculine and feminine. This concept is used in the Chinese tradition to describe the complementarity between the two sexes, but it can be applied to all forms of duality. Finally, it is important to note that feminine qualities are not exclusive to women. Men can also possess and develop them. It is therefore important to promote gender equality in order to allow everyone to develop their potential and contribute to the collective well-being.
The importance of forgiveness in our lives. Forgiveness is an essential concept for living a healthy and fulfilling life. It allows us to free our hearts from anger, resentment, and guilt. It is the key to living in harmony with oneself and others. Forgiveness is not easy, especially when it comes to people who have hurt us deeply. However, it is important to remember that forgiveness is a quality that resides within us and that we can exercise it at any time. By forgiving, we enrich ourselves internally and allow our hearts to grow. Forgiveness is a sign of generosity and compassion towards ourselves and others. It allows us to free ourselves from the burdens that weigh on our soul and prevent us from moving forward in life. Love is closely related to forgiveness. When the heart is pure and open, love comes spontaneously, without rules or conditions. Feelings of jealousy and anger disappear and give way to harmony. By sharing Mother Mira's wisdom on the divine for free on the 30th anniversary of her book, she teaches us to open our hearts and welcome forgiveness as a true blessing. Taking advantage of these teachings will allow us to align ourselves with values that are beneficial to our inner and outer lives. The importance of going beyond physical and family identification. Our identification process begins at birth. We are identified through our gender, our skin color, our family and religious affiliation, etc. These elements influence our perception of ourselves and others. These elements influence our perception of ourselves and of others. We are thus led to develop stereotypes and prejudices that can lead to discrimination. However, our identity is not limited to these physical and family elements. We are each unique and have our own personality and history. It is therefore by going beyond these identity marks that we can truly know ourselves and understand others in their uniqueness. It is therefore important to seek to identify ourselves through personality traits, qualities, skills or interests, rather than through static and limited concepts that do not reflect the richness of our identity. By moving beyond our physical and familial identification, we can learn to appreciate the diversity of each individual, to be more open and tolerant, and to build more authentic and profound relationships. The importance of gratitude in our lives. In our daily lives, we often tend to focus on what we don't have rather than what we do have. We focus on our wants and desires, forgetting that they are often within our reach. Yet it is essential to cultivate gratitude and be thankful for what we already have. By focusing on what we don't have, we reverse the law of attraction, which states that the more grateful we are, the more positive things we attract into our lives. By staying open to the present and appreciating the small pleasures in life, we discover the love that emerges from our inner peace. Sometimes the things we tend to take for granted are actually the most important. So, by taking the time to savor the moments spent with our family, friends, pets, or even appreciating the beauty of nature that surrounds us, we can discover a wholeness that is precious to us. It is therefore important to be aware of the richness that surrounds us, to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and to be grateful for what we already have. Finally, gratitude is a true source of happiness and personal fulfillment that can help us appreciate each day of our lives.
The importance of harmony between intelligence and love in relationships. In human relationships, it is important to find a balance between our intelligence and our capacity to love. These two qualities are complementary and indispensable to create harmony between us and our loved ones. Intelligence allows us to understand the world around us, to analyze situations and to make informed decisions. But if it is disconnected from our capacity to love, it can easily lead us to dominating behaviors, where we try to be right at all costs. This is where love comes in. Love, which is nourished by empathy, understanding and benevolence, is essential to avoid conflict and power struggles. When we can put into perspective the needs and desires of others, we better understand how to act to achieve a win-win situation. But the harmony between intelligence and love is not enough. It is also important to be able to align your feelings with your thoughts and actions. If you feel one way, but act differently, you create disharmony that can quickly undermine a relationship. That's why it's important to be honest with yourself and with others, to say what you feel and to act in accordance with your values. By practicing emotional intelligence and learning to better understand our own emotions, we improve our relationships with others and create a more harmonious environment where we can express ourselves freely. In short, the harmony between intelligence and love is essential to fostering fulfilling and lasting relationships. By practicing empathy, caring and effective communication, we can create an environment of trust and understanding that allows us to better understand and connect with each other.
The importance of harmony between thoughts and emotions. In life, it is important to maintain a good harmony between thoughts and emotions. Aligning and balancing them allows us to gain clarity of thought. Indeed, when our thoughts and emotions are in conflict, it can create stress, anxiety, and doubts. On the other hand, when these two aspects of ourselves are in harmony, our mind is at peace and we can accomplish tasks with more serenity. Taking care of our bodies can be a key to achieving this state of well-being and tranquility. Exercise, meditation, a balanced diet, and restful sleep are effective ways to recharge our batteries. Indeed, a healthy body contributes to a better mental health and, consequently, to an easier harmony between our thoughts and our emotions. Changing the way we think can also help us reach this larger state of consciousness. By focusing on the present moment, avoiding negative thoughts and opening ourselves to new perspectives, we can achieve a deeper balance. As a result, our minds will be more serene and we will be able to interact with others with full awareness. In conclusion, a harmony between our thoughts and emotions is the key to living with serenity and succeeding in the challenges that life presents us. By taking care of our body and changing our way of thinking, we can reach this state of consciousness and obtain a happier and more fulfilling life.
The importance of healthy anger in self-transformation. I emphasize that emotions are always egotistical, meaning that they are directly related to our own experience and state of mind. One of the most common ways we experience emotions is through our bodies. Anger is one of those emotions that allows us to transform ourselves. It can be considered healthy if it is used constructively to overcome the obstacles that stand in our way. Anger is often seen in a negative light, but it can help us become heroes. It can motivate us to step out of our comfort zone and overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. The text emphasizes the importance of channeling this emotion into something constructive. When we are complacent, that is, content with our current situation or have little ambition for ourselves, we miss opportunities that could lead us to a better version of ourselves. We sit on our comfort zone, not trying to move forward. Healthy anger is the very thing that can take us out of this comfort zone and move us forward in our plans, dreams, and aspirations. I also point out that anger comes from the energy that comes from the ego. When we learn to use this energy to overcome obstacles rather than letting it overwhelm us, we can achieve goals we thought were unattainable. In sum, I emphasize the importance of healthy anger in helping us transform ourselves. By learning to channel this emotion constructively and use the energy of the ego to guide us, we can become heroes in our lives. The importance of heart communication in A Course of Love. The book A Course in Love is considered a sequel to another book entitled A Course in Miracles. This book deals with the concept of spirit and love from a spiritual perspective. It emphasizes that the spirit is its own reality and that we are all connected in one heart and one mind. However, when the spirit speaks love to a closed heart, it can cause injury. To avoid this, it is therefore essential to learn to communicate from heart to heart. Indeed, heart-to-heart communication creates a deep and harmonious connection based on empathy, understanding, and acceptance. The Love Course highlights the importance of communication as a key tool for building healthy and lasting relationships with others. By learning how to communicate heart-to-heart, we can get closer to the true essence of love and connection. In sum, A Course in Love teaches us that mind and love are inseparable, and that to get in touch with their essence we must learn to communicate with our hearts.
The importance of intellectual coherence in love choices according to Arielle Adda. In her book Making the Right Love Choice, Arielle Adda highlights the importance of intellectual coherence in love relationships. Contrary to sapiosexuality, which is defined as an attraction based on intellect, intellectual coherence is presented here as a key element for mutual understanding in the couple. Indeed, according to Arielle Adda, intellectual coherence allows to share common interests, common values, and a similar level of understanding. This intellectual harmony facilitates communication, conflict resolution, and the sharing of life projects. Moreover, intellectual coherence allows to stimulate the intellect of each partner, thus nourishing a more fulfilling relationship. Thus, for Arielle Adda, intellectual coherence plays a crucial role in the choice of a love partner. Contrary to a simple physical attraction or to superficial criteria, the choice based on intellectual coherence allows to engage in a more balanced and satisfying relationship.
The importance of learning and true love. I bring up the idea that learning is essential to connect to the other and to oneself. The author uses the term habibi in Arabic, which means my beloved, to illustrate this idea. He explains that when we love the other, we love ourselves, and when we love ourselves, we love the other. This relationship is characterized by a deep connection that goes beyond duality. The notion of reliance is often used in this context to illustrate this idea of deep connection and mutual dependence. In short, learning and true love are essential for a fulfilling and harmonious existence.
The importance of libido in emotional balance. Our libido is one of the most powerful driving forces in our lives. It encompasses our desires, fantasies, sensuality and pleasure, and impacts all levels of our being, including our physical, emotional, and mental aspects. The instinctive motor center of our libido creates a sense of well-being when we stimulate ourselves. However, if we don't express it, there can be an emotional overload that leads to trouble. Just as a car engine needs oil to run, but too much oil can drown the engine, our being needs libido to live fully, but too much emotion can be harmful. The importance of libido lies in its role in emotional balance. It helps us live an emotionally rich life and allows us to explore our sensuality and desire, but it must be properly channeled so as not to cause emotional problems. In summary, our libido is essential for our emotional well-being and personal growth, but we must learn to use it in a conscious and balanced way so that it remains a source of pleasure and joy rather than a risk for our mental health.
The importance of living emotions to the fullest. It is common to find ourselves in a situation where we repress our emotions for fear of living them fully. This repression creates tension in our body, leading to physical and emotional problems. The judgment we make of our emotions also prevents us from experiencing them fully. Yet the key to avoiding this accumulation of emotions is simple: just experience them. By feeling each emotion that comes to us, without judging it or trying to hold it back, we can let it go more easily. By dint of repressing our emotions, they grow little by little until they become repressed emotions that prevent us from moving forward and living in harmony with ourselves. To live our emotions fully is therefore essential. It is by recognizing and expressing them that we can move forward on our life path and free ourselves from emotional blockages. Let us be guided by our emotions and accept to live them, because each of them has a message to transmit to us about ourselves and our environment.
The importance of living your desires. Desire is a very powerful force that drives each of us. Whether it is a sexual desire, a desire for success, or a desire to travel, it is the force that drives us to act. However, when this desire is suppressed, it can become a source of unfulfilled intentions that prevent us from moving forward. Living our desires is therefore essential to move forward in life. By allowing ourselves to feel and express our desires, we open ourselves to life on earth. This allows you to connect to yourself and express your true identity. It is therefore important to take the time to listen to your desires, to recognize them and to live them fully without any shame or inhibition. The repression of desires can lead to frustration, anger, sadness, or other negative feelings. This can be detrimental to our overall well-being. Living our desires can, on the contrary, bring a sense of satisfaction and joy to our lives. In short, it is essential to give free rein to our desires, to express them, to live them fully, and thus to reconnect with ourselves. It is an important step to live in harmony with oneself and with others.
The importance of love in our well-being scientifically proven. Scientists agree that our well-being depends on one key element, love. More specifically, the interaction between our mirror neurons and our vagus nerve plays an essential role in our quality of life. Mirror neurons are brain cells that are activated when we observe someone performing an action. They allow us to understand the intentions and emotions of others by reproducing in ourselves what they feel.
The vagus nerve is a cranial nerve that plays an important role in the regulation of our nervous system. The interaction between these two elements is essential for our well-being. Studies have shown that people who feel loved and supported have a higher activation of their mirror neurons and vagus nerve. This results in less stress and anxiety, improved sleep quality, lower blood pressure and improved immunity. Thus, it is important to cultivate social relationships and love in our daily lives to promote this interaction between mirror neurons and the vagus nerve. By practicing empathy, altruism and active listening, we promote this activation and improve our quality of life. It is therefore important to take care of our social relationships in order to cultivate this love that is so beneficial to us scientifically speaking. This discovery invites us to rethink our way of interacting with others to bring out the best in all circumstances.
The importance of love whispers. In intimate and romantic moments, lovers often resort to whispering in the hollow of the ear. This habit may seem harmless, but it carries with it the intensity and depth of the feelings experienced. But why do lovers need to whisper in each other's ears? To answer this question, a story from a Hindu sage can help us understand. According to this legend, humans were once dual creatures, male-female, back-to-back, 4 arms and 4 legs. One day, they were punished for their arrogance and pride by being split into 2, a man and a woman, to wander the earth separately. Since that separation, humans have been searching for their other half, their soulmate, to find that lost wholeness. When they finally find it, they are driven by an irresistible desire to get closer, to touch each other, to talk to each other, and to whisper sweet words. In this impulse, the whispering in the ear becomes a symbol of this search for fullness that can only be reached through the union of bodies and souls. The whisper in the ear is therefore a manifestation of love, complicity, intimacy and fusion of beings. It is a delicate and privileged way to communicate deep and sensual feelings, to share intimate secrets and to strengthen the bond between lovers. It is full of emotions and sensuality, and it creates a bubble of intimacy between two people who are looking for and discovering each other. Ultimately, love whispers symbolize the eternal search for the lost unity, the fusion of souls and bodies into one entity. In them lies all the power of love, that mysterious force that guides human beings in their quest for fulfillment and happiness.
The importance of managing emotions for our physical and mental health. It is true that emotions are an integral part of our lives and that we cannot live without them. However, it is important to distinguish between positive and negative emotions and to know how to manage the latter for our well-being. Medicine has studied the consequences of repressed emotions on physical health, particularly on the liver and heart. By repressing our negative emotions, we create emotional stress that can affect our autonomic nervous system and produce somatic symptoms such as digestive, sleep or appetite problems. It is therefore important to become aware of our negative emotions and find constructive ways to deal with them. Meditation, physical activity, artistic expression or talking to a friend or mental health professional are all methods that can help manage repressed emotions. Finally, it is important to remember that negative emotions are not inherently bad things, but rather a natural, human response to difficult events. They are signals from our body and mind that something is wrong. It is therefore important to welcome and understand them in order to better manage their impact on our lives.
The importance of managing your emotions for a serene relationship. Emotions are an essential part of our humanity, but they can also create disruptions in our lives and relationships. Strong feelings often manifest themselves at our deepest level, touching our innermost being. In order to avoid suffering from these emotional states, human psychology has developed protective emotional strategies that manifest as distancing behaviors. These behaviors can take many forms, but the idea is to create a safe space to protect our emotional well-being. However, these distances can also manifest in interpersonal relationships. When we are afraid of being hurt or fearful of losing control of our emotions, we may engage in behaviors that distance others and affect our well-being. These behaviors can include emotional absence, distrust, rejection, avoidance and silence. It is therefore important to work on our emotions and relationships to create a healthy balance. This emotional protection, which may come from our childhood experiences, can be revisited and made aware. By learning to be aware of our emotions and manage them more consciously, we can learn to be more serene in our relationships with others. This may require some work on ourselves and learning different emotional management techniques such as meditation, calm activities, emotional expression, emotional measurement and self-compassion. Ultimately, working on oneself and one's relationships is an undertaking that requires patience, compassion and perseverance. Nevertheless, by adopting healthier behaviors to manage our emotions and creating more serene relationships, we can enjoy the human experience to the fullest and live more fulfilling lives.
The importance of nonverbal communication in our interactions. Communication is a crucial element in our relationships with others. However, it is often overlooked that the majority of our communication does not take place through the words we use. In fact, words represent only 7% of our communication, while 23% comes through our voice and 70% through our posture and gestures. This means that our attitude and behavior greatly influence the perception that others have of us. We can therefore understand the importance of working on our nonverbal communication in order to better interact with others. It is also important to understand the different roles in communication, including the sender and the receiver. If we are faced with two senders, no one will be there to listen, which will greatly reduce the value of the communication. Everyone has their own way of expressing themselves, but also of perceiving the messages that are sent to them. Some people are more easily touched by a gesture, others by words. It is therefore essential to be aware of this difference and to make sure that our message is clearly understood, by a good confirmation of reception. In short, communication is not just a matter of words. The posture, tone and gestures we use play an essential role in our interaction with others. By working on these elements, we can greatly improve our communication and therefore our relationships with others. The importance of open-mindedness for the future. In our ever-changing world, it is crucial to have a fresh look at things. That's why today we're going to listen to our fellow Amourologist talk about shamanic awakening. This topic may seem strange or unconventional to some, but it's essential to stay open-minded to learn new perspectives. Indeed, open-mindedness is a great challenge, but it is also the key to our future. We live in a time of rapid change where prejudice can easily hinder our understanding and effectiveness. When we are closed-minded, we cannot adapt to new circumstances and this can leave us vulnerable. On the other hand, if we embrace open-mindedness, we can discover new ideas, new ways of life and new cultures. We can develop a better understanding of our world, which can help us work more effectively with others, be more creative and find innovative solutions to problems. This is why it is important to listen to others, even when they have ideas that seem strange or different from what we believe. We must be willing to question our own beliefs and learn from others. Ultimately, this will make us stronger and more resilient in the face of future challenges. In sum, open-mindedness is a quality that should be valued and cultivated in all aspects of our lives. By being open to others, we can grow as individuals and help build a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.
The importance of personal appearance for psychological well-being. Personal appearance, whether in terms of hygiene or clothing, plays a crucial role in how we perceive ourselves and how others perceive us. It can also have a significant impact on our psychological well-being. Indeed, clothing and personal hygiene can be one of the main sources of disruption to our self-esteem. If we do not feel comfortable in our skin or are not satisfied with our physical appearance, it can lead to feelings of stress, anxiety and depression. Conversely, when we take care of our personal appearance, it can have a positive effect on our psychological well-being. For example, studies show that wearing a suit and tie can increase self-confidence by 30%, which can translate into better performance at work or in social interactions. Ultimately, it's important to consider our personal appearance as more than just a matter of physical appearance. It can also have a profound impact on our psychological well-being and how we engage with the world around us.
The importance of perspective and love. Every story we hear has a different version depending on the point of view of the person telling it. Similarly, each person has their own perception of love. This begs the question, Is it more important to love or to be loved? Upon closer examination, it is difficult to measure the importance of one over the other. For some people, loving is their reason for living. For others, being loved is their source of happiness. However, no matter how you look at it, there is value in both. It is important to listen to our own feelings in order to understand our inner child. This means that we should take time to reflect on our own perception of love and what it means to us. It is also important to have the ability to step back and see things from the perspective of others. By understanding their perception, we are able to better communicate and connect with them. Ultimately, whether it is loving or being loved that is more important is a personal and subjective matter. We should focus on what makes us happy and what brings us inner peace. The importance of relationships in our lives. The relationships we have with others are essential to our personal growth and psychological well-being. They help us become aware of ourselves and our place in the world. Indeed, interactions with others are a mirror of our personality, our behaviors and our values. Relationships allow us to know ourselves better, to question ourselves and to improve ourselves. According to one study, social relationships are also an indicator of life expectancy. People who have a dense and quality social network are more likely to live longer than those who are isolated. This is because social interactions have beneficial effects on mental and physical health. They reduce stress, stimulate the immune system, promote emotional regulation and improve cognitive abilities. Furthermore, our perception of relationships is a reflection of our understanding of the world. We interpret events and interactions according to our beliefs, values and life experiences. Relationships allow us to expand our worldview, discover new perspectives and challenge our stereotypes and prejudices. In short, relationships are a rich field of learning and personal development. They help us to know ourselves better, to live longer and to understand the world around us. It is therefore essential to cultivate our social ties and to nourish them regularly to ensure our psychological balance and overall health. The importance of relativization in the quest for a better life. Hope is a powerful force that animates our hearts and pushes us to move forward in search of a better life. It is what gives us the energy to keep moving forward despite difficulties and trials. However, it is important to know that our mind can often deceive us in looking for the best opportunity. Our soul, on the other hand, can be impulsive and cause us to have a bad feeling about things that may not be realistic or feasible. This is where relativization comes in. It allows us to put our expectations and desires in perspective, to look at them objectively and adjust them to reality. This allows us to keep our emotions in check and our feet on the ground. In summary, hope is an indispensable force in our quest for a better life, but it is important to know how to put our expectations and desires into perspective to avoid disappointment and to remain faithful to reality.
The importance of releasing our emotions to live fully. Human beings are emotional beings. Each emotion we feel is a unique experience and helps us to better understand ourselves and our environment. However, when we repress our emotions, they can get stuck in us and affect our mental and physical health. Each repressed emotion can become lodged in a specific part of our body and block the flow of life within us. Fear can lodge in the root chakra, guilt in the sacral, shame in the solar plexus, grief around the heart and so on. These emotional blockages can cause great tension in our bodies and affect our overall health. It is therefore important, even essential, to release our emotions. This means not ignoring or repressing them, but rather allowing them to express themselves and flow freely within us. There are many techniques to free our emotions, such as artistic expression, emotional therapy, meditation, writing and many others. In addition, by releasing our emotions, we are able to live more fully and create a more authentic life. We can make more assertive decisions and face life's challenges with more confidence and serenity. In short, releasing our emotions is an act of love towards ourselves and those around us.
The importance of self-esteem in our relationships with the world. Self-esteem is a fundamental concept that influences our behavior and our perception of the world around us. Indeed, Our self-confidence and self-worth influence our choices, our decisions, and our relationships with others. When we have high self-esteem, we are more comfortable expressing our opinions and feelings because we are convinced that we have intrinsic value. We are less likely to seek approval from others or be affected by criticism. However, when our self-esteem is low, we tend to doubt our abilities and worth. We may be afraid to take risks and face unknown situations. Low self-esteem can also lead us to seek the approval of others at all costs, even if it means compromising our values. As such, our self-esteem plays a crucial role in our relationships with the world. If we have high self-esteem, we are more likely to be positive and confident in our interactions with others. However, if our self-esteem is low, we are likely to develop feelings of resentment towards ourselves. We may feel unable to find our place in the world, or we may feel a lack of self-worth. Ultimately, our self-esteem is closely tied to our interpretation of the world around us. It is therefore essential to take care of our self-esteem and work on strengthening it, so that we can interact with others with confidence and self-respect.
The importance of self-recognition in personal development. In life, it is essential to know and recognize one's own worth. This involves an intimate understanding of our own personal legend, our individual history, and the experiences that have shaped us. By learning about this history, we come to know and accept ourselves as we are. Adolescence is a key time for building strong self-esteem and healthy personal integrity. It is a time of self-discovery and seeking recognition from others to better integrate into society. However, if we fail to find this recognition, we run the risk of closing in on ourselves and isolating ourselves. By getting to know and accept ourselves fully, we can better understand what motivates us and what attracts us in life. This allows us to develop an intimate relationship with our true essence, our inner being. We can then blossom and grow in accordance with our deepest dreams, without trying to conform to the expectations of others or of society in general. In short, it is important to take the time to discover ourselves, to know our own value, and to accept ourselves as we are. This is how we will be able to fully blossom and open ourselves to the possibilities that life has to offer.
The importance of small talk in making friends. Small talk may seem trivial and insignificant, but it plays a crucial role in building social relationships. Indeed, it is often through light and informal conversations that we can gradually create bonds with others. The secret to a good small talk conversation is knowing how to get started. It is important to choose a topic that is both interesting and appropriate. For example, you can start by asking questions about the person, such as their job or hobbies. This shows that you are interested in them and want to know more. Another tip is to know when to interrupt the conversation. It's important not to monopolize the conversation and to leave enough space for the other person to speak in turn. If the conversation doesn't seem to be taking, it's time to let the person go and not force the conversation. Finally, to maintain the other person's attention, it is important not to talk only about yourself. You must also be willing to listen to others and ask questions to allow them to express themselves. In short, small talk is often the starting point for making friends. Knowing how to start a conversation and how to keep the other person's attention will help you connect with others, even if they are at first glance distant from you.
The importance of taking responsibility to move forward serenely. The above text underlines the importance of taking responsibility in order to be in tune with oneself. Indeed, accepting one's mistakes and recognizing one's own responsibility is a first step towards authenticity. This authenticity is the key to being at peace with oneself and with others. I also highlight the negative impact of meddling in the lives of others, which creates tension in relationships and can lead to disappointment. Thus, it is essential not to seek to be liked at all costs and to preserve our integrity. This contributes to healthy and harmonious relationships. In short, taking responsibility is an important step in moving forward serenely in life. It helps to foster authenticity, preserve integrity, and promote healthy and fulfilling relationships. The importance of teaching emotional intelligence in schools. In today's society, the importance of emotional intelligence is often underestimated or even ignored. Schools place very little emphasis on teaching this social skill. As a result, toxic and violent behaviors are reproduced, sometimes even encouraged by the media. The lack of knowledge about emotional intelligence has a negative impact on human relationships in general. Children do not know how to manage their own emotions or how to interact with others effectively. As a result, they are likely to develop maladaptive and destructive behaviors. In addition, the media can also have a negative impact on the understanding of emotional intelligence. Children take their cues from the personalities they see on television or social media, without the benefit of proper education on how to manage emotions and relationships around them. Yet, emotional intelligence is essential for the mental and physical well-being of individuals in their daily lives. Learning emotional skills should begin in childhood, as these skills will become natural and instinctive as we grow up. It is also important to emphasize that human relationships are universal and that brotherly and sisterly love is the same for everyone. By learning emotional skills at an early age, children can better understand others, develop healthy defenses against toxic behaviors, and develop increased empathy. In sum, teaching emotional intelligence should be considered an essential element in the education of children in order to build a fulfilling society that is respectful of others.
The importance of the sacred attitude in the search for truth. I discuss the theme of the search for truth and emphasize the importance of having a sacred attitude in this search. He states that those who go about this search by trial and error will not find the exact truth. This means that a reverent and sacred approach to the universe is essential to accessing the truth. The sacred attitude involves connecting to the spiritual dimension of our existence and cultivating a respectful relationship with the universe. This often involves patience, perseverance, and humility. Indeed, truth does not necessarily reveal itself instantly and may take time to emerge. It is also important to recognize that truth is often subjective and dependent on our own perspective and understanding of the world. In conclusion, this text emphasizes that in order to find the truth, it is essential to adopt a sacred attitude towards the universe. This translates into a respectful and conscious approach that fosters spiritual connection and humility. This sacred attitude can help cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
The importance of the search for truth. In this text, the author seems to stress the importance of the search for truth. He evokes a sacred attitude, a way of being in harmony with the universe. However, it seems that this attitude is difficult to attain for those who are groping, that is, without knowing exactly where they are going. The author thus invites us to persevere in the search for truth, not to give up even if the path may seem difficult. He seems to emphasize that the search for truth is a process, a personal evolution that cannot be done without trial and error. This text can lead us to reflect on our own commitment to this search for truth, on the importance of continuing to move forward despite the obstacles. It also invites us to be tolerant of those who do not share our point of view, for perhaps they too are simply groping in their own search for truth. The importance of understanding our emotional system. The emotional system is a complex mechanism that sends messages to our body and mind in response to different situations. Primary emotions, such as fear, alert us to potential imminent danger. However, it is important to recognize that our emotions do not entirely define us. They are not a personal matter, but rather a natural response to our environment. We often come to believe that our emotions define us to the point of thinking, I'm angry or I'm sad, but this is not true. We are not our emotions, we feel them. Understanding this concept allows us to better manage our emotional system and use it to our advantage. The next time you feel an emotion, take a moment to acknowledge and analyze it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is this an appropriate response or not? How could I better manage this emotion? By learning to better understand our emotional system, we can learn to better regulate our emotions and thrive in our personal and professional lives. The importance of balanced generosity. I am convinced that generosity is an essential virtue, which begins with taking care of oneself before being able to help others effectively. I have come to understand that generosity in the wrong proportions, motivated by pity and shame for the other, can be harmful to both parties involved. Therefore, I strive to monitor my thoughts and motivations to remain authentic and credible in my generosity. I am convinced that to have a real impact, my generosity must be well proportioned and balanced. Finally, I have come to realize that chasing after people who are not available is futile, and that it is important to respect each other's limits.